Hello everyone, welcome back to Space Quest 1. Before we continue with our regularly scheduled Space Quest, I wanted to show something which I thought was interesting. Somebody asked, I think on the previous video, if there's a way to enjoy this game using the Hercules monochrome graphics. And I didn't actually know at the time, I'd never tried it, but the answer is yes, there is. So I'm here in DOSBox. Now, most of you, I think, experienced the early Space Quest games in DOS. I think most of you, I think the majority of you, probably like 90% of you, roughly played these games originally in DOS on a PC. But you probably played, the regular color versions. And DOSBox by default will emulate a VGA PC. And VGA, the nice thing with VGA is it's backwards compatible, so it doesn't only show VGA graphics, it can also show EGA graphics and CGA graphics. So EGA and CGA games will work fine in DOSBox using the default configuration without you needing to configure anything. But there is a line in the DOSBox configuration file called machine equals. And by default, it has there's some VGA, or I think SVGA, so Super VGA adapter configured. But you can configure this for other things. Now, some people, if you are a very enthusiastic DOSBox user, you may know about the Tandy setting. And Sierra's early AGI games, like the Space Quest games and King's Quest games, and so they do also support a Tandy mode. And the nice thing with the Tandy mode is it gives you three audio channels. So instead of the monochrome sound that you get from, that most of you probably know, you can actually get a very nice three-note harmony from some of the AGA games using Tandy mode. It was actually kind of cool. It was used to good effect on some games. For example, Space Quest 2 uses it to good effect, I think. But there is also the possibility to say machine equals Hercules, which is what I'm doing right now in DOSBox. It's configured for Hercules monochrome mode. Hercules was a very widely used monochrome, so one color graphics adapter. And I had never seen this. I don't think I've ever in my life seen Space Quest running in monochrome mode. It's just not something that I did. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Let's run Space Quest. And yeah, you can see it's in, so DOSBox emulates it as black and white. Many monochrome monitors of the day were either green or amber colored, but yeah. Okay, gray works as well. So I'm just gonna get past that. So the sound effects are identical. The sound effects don't change based on what type of DOS PC you're emulating, unless you emulate the Tandy, but this is the same kind of sound effects that you folks probably know. But obviously the graphics are very different. Now, besides obviously being monochrome, notice that there is a higher resolution happening here. So you can see, like, if you look at the textures on the walls and things like that, you can see relatively fine details. They actually did use a lot of different, they used the higher resolution to good effect. So back in the day, there tended to be a trade-off between resolution and color. So high colored modes, like for a long time, 256 color modes in the PC used relatively low resolution, 320 by 200 graphics. 320 by 200 is not really very high. I mean, it's not bad, but it's a relatively low resolution. It was considered kind of low back in the day, but with that you got higher color depth. So for a long time there was this sort of trade-off between color information. There's only so much visual data or graphical data that the graphics adapter could process. So it was often a trade-off between color data and pixel data. So in this case, we have obviously less colors. There's only one color to work with, but for that we get a higher resolution to work with. Unfortunately, you can see, like, if you look at the doors, you can see that basically what they haven't really taken advantage of the higher resolution that they have here. They've basically just adapted the existing relatively low resolution game graphics for this mode, and all they've really done with the resolution is create some not colors, textures. So you can see there are some textures that have been used to good effect, but basically they've just they've not upscaled the graphics at all to the high. They've not done any kind of anti-aliasing or smoothing. I mean, this was the 80s. There wasn't really anything like that could be done automatically, I don't think. So this is what Space Quest looked like for people who are playing on a Hercules monochrome adapter. And one thing I do find very interesting, one thing that actually functions differently about this mode is the parser. if you, let me get Roger walking, and look what happens when I press a key. It actually pops up a command prompt and pauses the game. This was not usual for AGI games. Most AGI games still run in real time. You can type things at the bottom of the screen and the command will sit there, but the game will keep running. But this actually pauses the game while you're typing, similar to later SCI games. So I just wanted to show this because I think this is something that a lot of you have probably never seen before. I had never seen this. Like, I had never actually tried running these games in monochrome mode, and yeah. Oh yeah, and you can see the font is... They did at least use a higher resolution font, and this is the default font that you see in ScumVM if you try to emulate AGI games in ScumVM. So I didn't know that at the time. When I played Space Quest Zero on stream a couple of weeks ago, somebody mentioned, yeah, the reason why the font looks different in NAGI... Actually, no, sorry, not ScumVM. NAGI, that's right. And ScumVM uses the chunkier font that we're more familiar with by default. But NAGI uses this font by default, even if you're running in color, non-monochrome colorful modes. And yeah, the inventory looks about the same as it does in other things. So I mean, there's not a huge difference otherwise. But yeah, I find it interesting that the text parser pauses the game. Okay, enough of that. Let's get back to let's get back to the game. So, hold on, I need to quickly transform my video mode here and switch back to my Apple IIGS emulator. It should be, there we go. Oh, it shows the, is there anything? It shows, okay, there we go. Okay, all right, so, what are we doing here? Yes, so, okay, so as mentioned last time, by popular request, a lot of people wanted to see me kill Orat with the Robo Spider Droid. So instead of using the dehydrated water to kill Orat, they wanted to see me use the Spider Droid. So let's go ahead and do that. So right now, I've gotten here without killing Orat. So Orat is still alive. And we meet this guy again. He says all the same stuff as before. I think none of this is just the audio. I think it was a little quiet there. Let me, yeah, so this is all the same. He says the same thing about us being up the estuary without a means of locomotion. Also, we need transportation. Yes, we are. Let's see if you're worthy of our assistance. Okay, and this is different. On the surface lives a beast called Orat. He proves to be a bit of an annoyance on occasion. Dispose of him and bring back evidence of your conquest. Only then will I deal with your plight. Good luck, strange one. And then we beam back up here. Well, it's not really beam. There's like some kind of elevator. There's obviously some kind of elevator system at work here where the elevators disappear. So yeah. So we're back here on the surface. We are in a parallel universe where we didn't destroy the Spider Droid. You can see the rocket that I used to destroy it is still there. And of course, Orat is still alive. Oh, there's the Spider Droid again. It's kind of weird. It kind of, if you go underground to that cavern area, it seems to disappear. Like it actually disappears from the planet and then somehow it re-lands on the planet, which doesn't make any sense. I can understand that the Sarians must have dropped it onto this planet from where they were, but we saw it before. It doesn't make any sense that it somehow respawns here. That goes back. I need to go that way to get to Orat's cave. So let's take the long way around. Let's go around this rock formation here so that the Spider Droid doesn't kill us before we have a chance to get there. All right. There it is. Let's go inside. And you'll notice, see, Orat starts from back there. Normally, Orat starts closer to us. But if you come in here when the Spider Droid has not been destroyed, then the game realizes what you're trying to do. And so it starts Orat farther back in the cave, so you have time to hide behind here. The cave interior now features a lovely new jagged metal liberated entrails motif. The stench? Phew, not even an all-text adventure would attempt that description. And yeah, that's it. That's killing Orat with the spider droid. And make sure you do hide behind this like when you come in here, get out of the way, because the problem is what you may naturally want to do is try to kind of walk, I tried to like maybe get a little bit out of the way here, but that doesn't work. If you're here when Orat and the spider droid meet each other, the explosion will kill you. It kills all three of you. So don't try to like get a little to the side. Like go all the way down here and kind of hide behind this rock here. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You'll probably kill yourself. And then we proceed as we did before. We take that Orat part, go back to the holographic apparition that we saw, and then it lets us backstage, as it were, and we can continue as we did. So there you go. So that's the thing that a lot of people wanted to see. Now, one other thing. Yeah, here. Somebody did point out that you can actually drink from this. I guess either it's in the wrong place where I typed the wrong command, but if you're just standing here and you can just type drink. Can I say drink water? Yeah, I think I was just in the wrong place last time. You need to get closer. You need to kind of step in front of it like this. You lean over to drink from the tempting pool of liquid. As your lips touch the fluid, you feel a pain which could be likened to kissing a lit rocket nozzle. Now you know what they mean when they say, don't drink the water. That's right, you have no head. That darn pool must be filled with acid. You obviously can't go on living that way. Yeah, I think in the VGA remake it says something like that. That really cleared your sinuses. Talk about clear sinuses or something like that. Okay, so I guess that's. Oh yeah, one other thing. Let me restore to here. So this is where we. Oh gosh, that infernal sound cannot be stopped. Okay, that's fine. Can I put the cartridge back in? All right. Somebody brought this up, and thank you for bringing this up because I never really thought about this. This is something that's never really brought out or never really fully explained in the games, and so I never really thought about it that much. The name of the scientist who wrote this appeal to the world is Dr. Slash Vohal. Now, this might not have meant much at the time when this game was first released, because this was obviously the only Space Quest game back then. But in retrospect, pretty much all of us know Space Quest 2 is called Vohal's Revenge. But the Vohal in that game, and all subsequent Space Quest games where there's a mention of a Vohal, is Sludge Vohal. I had always assumed, and I don't know why I assumed this, because this is not really stated anywhere. This was just sort of my assumption, that they're the same person, and Slash Vohal somehow either went bad or was maybe like a rogue agent masquerading as a benevolent scientist. I don't know. That was just kind of my theory. I kind of theorized that Slash Vohal was a scientist who went bad and became Sludge Vohal. But that doesn't really make much sense because, as far as I know, I think all the scientists died on the Arcata. This guy was on the Arcata, so I don't think he survived that encounter because, you saw they killed all the scientists on the Arcata. Okay, it is possible that somebody escaped. I don't think it's ever explicitly stated that nobody escaped the Arcata, so it's possible that this guy escaped and then turned into Sludge Vohal later. That is a possibility. But the game never really, again, mentions Slash Vohal. And so it's never really made clear who was Slash Vohal and why does he have the same last name as Sludge Vohal? Is that just a coincidence or is there some connection between them? As far as I know, there is no answer to this question that's canon. I think there is no Space Quest canon answer because it is never mentioned in the games. It is the relationship between the two is never made clear in the games. There is a theory, and I don't think this is made clear in the game either. I don't think this is actually explicitly stated in the game, but there is a a theory. The scientist we met in the game is Slash Vohal. So remember at the beginning of the game when there was that scientist who kind of stumbles into the room with the cartridges. There's that room with the cartridge retrieval system. There is a theory that the guy who stumbles in and briefly says astral body with his last dying words. There's a theory that that guy was Slash Vohal, but I don't think it. I don't think that's I also don't think that's canon because he doesn't introduce himself. He doesn't say, "Oh, hi, my name is Slash Vohal." So I think that the idea that that's Vohal is more of a fan theory than something that's again something's canon or official. There is some information on this. There is some background on the Space Quest fandom wiki or Space Quest Omnipedia, which is online at spacequest.fandom.com, and there it says, let me see. There was a book, like an actual published book, called The Space Quest Companion, written by, was it Peter Spear? Actually, it doesn't state the author's name here. Hold on. I know that the King's Quest, there's also the King's Quest Companion, and I think that was written by Peter Spear, but actually it doesn't state the author's name here on the Space Quest Omnipedia. Let me see. Who wrote the Space Quest Companion? Yeah, it is Peter Spear. And I think the same guy went on to, or maybe not went on, maybe he wrote the King's Quest Companion first. Anyway, so there was an actual published book called The Space Quest Companion. The book is maybe not entirely canon, but it tries to sort of fill in some of the blanks. It basically writes its own story. It writes its own Space Quest backstory, and it was written with input from Mark Crow. So it's not just that Peter Spear totally dreamed up something out of his head and committed it to paper and got it published. It was actually written with a sort of assistance and blessing from Mark Crow. So it does somewhat fill in a few of the blanks. And according to the book, Slash Vohal and Sludge Vohal are clones. And so Slash was the good guy, the benevolent guy who was trying to help humanity and develop the Star Generator. And Sludge Vohal is the guy who went bad and becomes the villain in Space Quest 2 and also a couple of subsequent Space Quest games and fan games. So, yeah. That was, I think, Mark Crow's conception of Slash and Sludge Vohal. Scott Murphy, again, I'm reading from the same Space Quest fandom Omnipedia article. It is said that designer Scott Murphy has said that the two Vohals were intended to be brothers, and that Sludge Vohal had a Siamese brother who was not Slash. So that gets into more, that's like a whole other story, which, it's hard to say. I mean, these are all kind of ideas that were floating around in the designers' minds. I guess ultimately there's no real answer because, at the risk of spoiling some of the fun, I might as well point out these are not real people. These are just fictional characters. So the backstory could be anything you want it to be. They're not real characters. There is no canon truth to who is Slash Vohal, what's his relation to Sludge Vohal. Mark Crow and Scott Murphy have slightly different ideas in their heads, but it was never committed to any games, so you can kind of theorize or speculate, but there's no one right answer. So, okay, I think that's all I wanted to speak about, and gosh, this has been like more than half the video, just me filling in some of these blanks. I'm sorry, I know I ramble on too long. You probably wanted to see us get on with the game, but let's do that then. Let's get on with the game. This part now, so I'm going to restore the part called Skimmer. Let's get into the skimmer. Let's look at the skimmer. As described, it is a sand skimmer, and it looks like it has skimmed quite a bit of sand in its time. On it is a panel which has a small readout, currently dark, and a keyhole with a key in it. Okay. So you turn the key before anything can happen. You turn the key, and suddenly the jet turbines begin to whir. The skimmer begins to shake beneath you as its platform slowly moves into the launch tube. You can't help but wonder what you've gotten yourself into this time. As you nervously hang on, the skimmer rises slowly to the surface of the planet via a secret passage. How many little passages like this do they have built under the sand of the planet? Upon reaching the surface, you throttle up and zoom off into the sunset. The settlement the alien spoke of appears on the horizon. Okay, oh dear. You know what? Oh, wow. I think the game is right. Had you eaten a few less donuts during the mission, you might have cleared that rock. You know what? This is going way too fast. Hold on. Let me adjust the speed here. Let's go for. Let's see. Should I go for? Let's try 2.8 megahertz. Let's see if that. Let's see if that works out a little better. Wow, you can see how slowly it like even just animating the elements of this dialog box, it is so much slower. Oh wow. And then this is how long it takes to load the game. Like, see, this is why I emulate the game fast, because it just makes it so painful to do anything otherwise. Wow. Even showing a screen of text, you can see there's some lag doing that. I mean, it's not super slow, but you can see like it has to draw the window and then it has to put the text on it. And this was considered fast back in the day. This is actually, because this is the 2 point something megahertz mode. There's a 1 megahertz mode, which is even slower. Okay, let's see. Hopefully this will be more, oh yeah, this should be a little bit more viable now that I was never good at this in the first place, but hopefully this is going to be a little bit more viable now that it's running at this kind of speed. Oh, come on. Guess you got to react faster than that. Oh, come on. The remake gives you a way to skip this. It basically says something like, if you want to wimp out and not do this, you can just skip it. But, I don't think there's any such option in this version. I don't think you can skip this. You have to do it. Come on! That's... This is just getting kind of ridiculous. Okay, I don't think that I should get killed for just clipping that rock with the side of the skimmer like that. That seems like... Oh, man. Okay, well... It's a good thing I talked that much at the beginning of the video, because that might end up being the whole video. I may have to do this off screen. Not get skimmer. Actually, can I say get skimmer? Okay. There's nothing here with that name which can be acquired. I mean, I understand you can't just pick up the skimmer and put it in your pocket, but it would have been nice to at least say something like it's too big or too heavy for you to just carry around, instead of saying there is nothing here by that name when there obviously is. I'll try this a couple more times, but if I keep dying like that, which it looks like I will, then I guess I'll just do this off video, which means basically that this whole video is just going to be me talking about other stuff at the beginning and then like 10 minutes of me failing at the skimmer minigame. You really have to react. If you have a stone that's coming right at you, you really have to react as soon as you see it. Like you can't wait and see, is it gonna come my way? You really have to. I think I'm obviously reacting just a little bit too slowly, but also if you have, like, see, these are coming a little bit off to the side. You can dodge them if they come a little bit off to the side like that, but if they're literally like dead ahead, like right in front of you, I seem to not have quite enough time to react to that, or maybe it's just that I'm probably just reacting too slowly. Also, that settlement, yeah, see, like, I assume those white pixels up there are the settlement that we're skimming to, and they don't appear to be getting any bigger. I think they're supposed to get bigger as you get closer. but that does not appear to be happening, which worries me just a bit, because that's supposed to be a sign of progress. But again, I guess that's from the VGA remake. Maybe they do things different. All I know about this game, I'm realizing so much of what I know about this game is based on the VGA remake, because that's the one. Oh, yeah, okay, they're getting a little bit bigger now. How much more of this do we have to endure? Like, this is not really... Yeah, see, I don't think I could have dodged that, because it was right in front of me. This one, too, yeah. Well, this is quite annoying. Come on. Okay. I'll try one last time, and if it doesn't work out, then, gosh, then I guess that's the end of the video. And like I said, I'll keep trying this, I wonder... Hold on. Let's try... When I get out there, let's try the 1 megahertz mode, since this seems to be a little bit... I don't know if this is how you're supposed to play this. I mean, I know it seems painfully slow, but it's just a little bit... All right, let's try 1 megahertz. This is about as slow as you can get the Apple IIgs to run. So let's see how this works out. Obviously, it's going to make this run a lot slower. Oh, man. If we have to do the whole trip like this... Looks like we're going to have to do it like this. Otherwise, I keep having the problem that the stones, which are literally like right in front of you, they're too. Oh man, there's like a. It's so slow. It's so slow. There's a huge input lag. Like you press a key, and he starts moving like 2 seconds later. Oh my goodness, this is obviously not. This is obviously not ideal, but I wonder if this is the intended way to play the game, because, again, I know I keep saying it, but like when the stones appear right in front of you, you need to react like the instant you see them, because otherwise you will not have time to dodge them. If you're a couple of frames too late, then that's it. You're going to hit them, and you know, obviously you can survive a few hits, but this is a long trip. Like, this is actually... This feels a lot longer than in the remake. In the remake, they drastically shortened this, I think, because I remember I could get through this on the remake without too much trouble. I mean, it might take a couple of tries, but I don't remember it being this... I think the skimmer moved faster in that version, but here it's just like... Yeah, this is not... Gotta be... Oh, shoot. Yeah, I was stupid there. I started dodging to the right. Why did I do that? Why did I try dodging to the right? I don't know. I think I had a reason for that, but I can't remember what the reason was now. Don't think that would have hit me anyway, but just to be on the safe side. Is this how people played this back in the day? Please tell me, how did you get... I mean, I'm assuming people will. Probably people will recount their experiences with this anyhow, but how did you get through this? Did you really have to try like 10 times? Or is there some trick that I'm missing? I mean, I don't think so. I don't think there's any trick here. I think it really is just keep trying. grief. This video is going to have basically no adventure gameplay in it. The whole video is just going to be me talking about graphics modes and slash Vohall and then trying to get through this arcade sequence. Well, I guess it's a good thing that like I said, I guess it's a good thing that I talked about those things at the beginning of this video, so this video has some content, because otherwise it would have almost no content. It would just maybe be me doing this, failing at this skimmer sequence repeatedly. Yeah, see, I've lost count of how many rocks I've dodged, and those white pixels have not gotten any bigger. They have not changed. They are still like 1 pixel high. So this is way too long. They made the sequence way too long on the original. They made this drastically shorter in the VGA remake, which was definitely the right decision to make, because this is... Yeah, sorry guys, this is way too long. By guys, I don't mean you folks, I mean the guys from Andromeda. Speaking to the 2 guys from Andromeda as if they were here eagerly awaiting my feedback, suggestions, and ways that they could improve the game. But I think they got this feedback a lot, because I think a lot of people... I seem to recall that a lot of people complained about this back in the day. And again, I was never really aware why, because having played the VGA remake, I thought, oh, you know, skimmer sequence isn't so bad. It's not too bad. It takes a few tries, we can get through it. But considering that most people probably played this instead, now I'm seeing why so many people complained about it. Those pixels still have not gotten bigger. I've been doing this now. This run has been going on for like 3 minutes now. I think, at least, maybe even longer than that. And those pixels are still 1 pixel tall. They still have not gotten bigger. That's why so many people complained about this. This is way too... I mean, I realize I'm playing it at 1 megahertz speed, and it's really... Yeah, see, this one... Are we going to be able to... Oh, yeah, we did dodge that. Okay, so it is just a matter of... Okay, all right. So, yeah, you can dodge them if they come right in front of you. You just have to be fast. I just wasn't fast enough. Okay, in that case, we'll probably survive this one, but it might take those pixels. Okay, those buildings are now 2 pixels high. So after like 4 minutes, we've seen the pixels get a little bit larger. So the buildings are getting closer. The buildings of the settlement that we are heading toward they are getting bigger. So we'll get there hopefully. But it is good to know that you actually do have enough time. If a rock appears right in front of you, you do have enough time to dodge it. You just have to run the game at 1 megahertz. I guess if you were playing the DOS version, you'd play it on slow, because Apple IIgs versions, like this version of the game does not have a speed timer. You cannot change the speed of the game in-game. You have to change it in your... Whoa. Are we going to dodge that? Okay, I reacted... I literally... Well, okay, I was maybe like 1 frame too late. Maybe it was like 1 frame too late on that one, but that is just unfair, in my opinion. It seemed to come faster too. Like I almost get the impression that the game deliberately makes some of these come at you faster than others. Or is that just me making excuses? I don't know. I can't tell. I feel like we should be able to see these rocks from farther away as well, because I think the draw distance at which they become visible is too close. I mean, realistically, in the desert, you should be able to see these things from far. If you can see those buildings from however far away they are, then it seems like... Obviously, the rocks are smaller, but still, I feel like we should be able to see the rocks sooner than they actually do show up here, but... Been doing this now for, what, like 6 minutes? Just this run? This is what they call balance issues. This is why you do testing. This is why you have people test your game. Better game testing would have revealed, I think. Okay, thank goodness. Phew, that was pretty intense. You've managed to successfully navigate through the treacherous boulder field and are quite relieved to see that you've reached the settlement. All right. Now it's going to take... Now it's loading the next scene. See, this is why I like the game so fast, because this is how long it takes to load one screen of this game in realistic speed. Like, this is realistically how... Yeah, here we go. Welcome to Yulen's Flats. All right, can I save here? Yes, I can. Okay, that's nice. Welcome to, I'll just say UF. Just wait for that to save. I just want the save to finish before I adjust the speed because I have a, maybe it's just a superstition, but I have a theory that changing the speed mid-save can mungle the save game because it might mess with the timing. All right, so speed unlimited. All right, there we go. This is more like what we're looking for. After a truly stone-crushing journey, you have miraculously arrived safely in Yulen's Flats, and just in time too, because the skimmer's power cell has been drained. It will take some time to recharge itself. This place isn't quite what you'd expected. It is semi-bleak at best. All right. Can I stand up? Get up? That does not compute. Get out? Say what? Come on, man. Exit? Leave skimmer? Okay, that was it. Oh, and now this guy shows up. Say, this is a genuine Fulton sand skimmer. I've been looking for one just like it. I wonder if you'd accept 30 buckazoids. Well, we'll have to deal with this guy next time. Actually, I'll just go ahead and say yes for now. Glad we could do business. Hope your stay in Yulen's Flats is an interesting one. Yeah, you might have gotten the impression that was the wrong answer, and yeah, it was. Okay, but we'll deal with that next time. So yeah, this has been a relatively uneventful video of me just talking about stuff and dying in that arcade sequence. Sorry it went a little differently than I'd planned, but thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully it was still worth watching, and next time, of course, we will explore Yulen's Flats and see some better gameplay than this time. So until then, thanks again for watching, everyone. Ta-ta, take care, bye-bye for now.